More often than not, you'll find yourself in a situation where you have many images that you need to quickly prepare for distribution to the rest of your class. If you're preparing a teaching and learning lesson, perhaps you've documented the entire process or taken pictures of various stages on your whiteboard for notes. There are many scenarios, and Photoshop has you covered for all of them. And the first thing that you'll want to do is make sure that all of your images are all located inside of the same folder or folder structure. Here I have a folder that I've called To Process, and inside of it I've moved copies of many of the images that we've worked on throughout this course. I've moved this folder out to my desktop to make it easier to find. Now let's go into Photoshop and go up to the File menu and go down to the Scripts menu and select Image Processor. Then follow these 4 steps. You can choose to process all of your open images if you've been working on several images inside of Photoshop and you just want to export all of them all at one time. Or you can choose to select a folder by clicking on the button here and navigate to your folder of images. Now, if you have a folder structure with many images already organized inside of that structure, you can check this box here to include all subfolders, and Photoshop will automatically find all of those images that are buried in that entire directory structure. I'll leave the option unchecked for now. Next, in step 2, tell Photoshop where to put the images. Now, I'd suggest not choosing the Save in Same Location option, as this would put each type of file that you select in step 3 in its own subfolder of the selected directory from step 1. This can get confusing very quickly, so you don't have to worry about which file is which. I'd suggest choosing the Select a Folder option and creating your own exports folder at the same directory level as your To Process folder of images from step 1. Now, if you do have that directory structure that we talked about here in step 1, and you want that to be duplicated in your exports, say you have one folder for each student in your class and all of their images or work is all in each of those folders, then check this box here and Photoshop will replicate that entire directory structure during the export process. Since we don't have that, I'll uncheck that option for now. Next, in step 3, you can tell Photoshop how to handle the exports. You can export for the web using this JPEG option, set the quality level, and notice that once again we're back on a 1 to 12 scale, with 12 being the highest quality. And again, always make sure that Convert to sRGB is checked so your images look their best. Then if you need to knock all of your image sizes down from your digital camera's multi-megapixel resolution to a more reasonable size for sharing on the web, then check the Resize to Fit box and then set the maximum width and height values that you want your images to be. I've got mine set to 600 by 600, which is a decent size for sharing on the web. You can also choose to create Photoshop documents and TIFF images as part of the export process as well. Now, back in Chapter 1, we created an action, and if you'd like to use that action, then check the box to Run Action and select it from the menus here. Photoshop will then run that action as part of the export. Now, this is a great way to quickly process all of your images. I'm going to leave this option unchecked for now and just click the Run button. Photoshop then takes over and one by one opens each image for us and applies our settings and saves out our processed images. Now that it's finished, I'll minimize Photoshop out of the way and I'll click into my exports folder, and it's added a new folder called JPEG for us, and inside of here are each of our compressed images all set to the proper size and ready to go.